One Zambia, One Nation. Welcome to Zanis News. I'm your presenter, Sarah Miti. Top stories in the news. Government to spend over 14 million kwacha on constructing road in Kaoma. Zambia Institute of Special Education calls for special learning centers. Permanent Secretary calls for holistic marketing of Victoria Falls. Plus, Levi Mwanawasa Stadium to be ready before World Cup qualifier games. Zanis News in detail. Government is expected to spend more than 14 million kwacha on constructing the 31-kilometer Chilombo-Nyango Road in Kaoma District. Speaking in an interview while inspecting the roadworks, Western Province Permanent Secretary Simomo Akapelwa explained that government has embarked on the projects to improve transport communication for the community of Nyango and surrounding areas. We have more in the following report.
Nyango Training Camp, established in 2018 under the Zambia Correctional Service, found in Kaoma District, has for the past years been facing challenges of lack of proper road connectivity to the main district. This challenge has prompted the government through the Road Development Agency, RDA, and Zambia Correctional Service to construct a gravel road. Provincial Permanent Secretary Simomo Akapelwa notes of the importance the road will facilitate to both the camp and farming community in the area.
Very important to open up the country for business, agriculture. So once the road is done, for the correctional services establishment to get to Kaoma will be very near. And this agricultural land, so it will make taking products to the markets very easy. It will enable people who have plots along this road to start production.
RDA Regional Engineer Paul Habasimbi reveals that the scope of works will be completed in a space of 2 weeks.
We started the works at Kashompa, joining to Zambia Correctional Service for a stretch of about 14 kilometers. Graving works which we have done now is about 4 kilometers, so we are remaining with about 10 kilometers. And our target is that in the next 2 weeks, we will try and beef up the equipment in terms of the tipper trucks so that we can complete the graveling works.
Meanwhile, the residents found at the construction site expressed joy at the new developments.
Limota nilitana kapula nilijomba hulu nikunyanda twale kafera sichabana sepa kuli kutwe hande kafera luna kaba kalamuka kwa waluna wo
ne unyanda ne uzwanga kwani kwa Nyango kuyanga kwa Kaoma ni mahutu kwali patela eze muze ngata zene unano helanga choka kuluksiza wateri mukwa kwa lutumia kwa government.
One of the top priorities the government is working on is to ensure that all communities in the country are connected through transport communication to the urban areas. Mulimas Tumbeko reporting for Zanis in Nyango area of Kaoma District, Western Province.
And about 9,500 farmers are expected to benefit from the 2023-2024 Farmer Input Support Program, FISIP, in Mpulungu District in Northern Province. The farmers have been drawn from over 850 cooperatives representing 14 agricultural groups in the district. Patrick Kawe gives us more in the following report.
These are part of the 9,500 people attending a meeting called to confirm eligible farmers earmarked to benefit from the 2023-2024 Farmer Input Support Program, FISIP, in Mpulungu District of Northern Province. Mpulungu Member of Parliament Leonard Mbao, who addressed the farmers at Iyendwe Primary School, called for transparency in the selection of FISIP beneficiaries.
So if you try for kubomba wa campus, amunemishi wafuruwaishi waba lipuka ni banani. Olitole ufafia tampuka tunapoka yaba itande na yete abapoka niwesa tabaweshibi. Na bakansela tabeshibi. Ba WDC tabeshibi. Imwefeka komiti. Twalashi wachati lafika yonsa itande na 90. So tukwani chakuti yonsi kweni afile yamba yana mwizitayane pano liliko. Paletivu tuswemo ama paki tukweti pakuti Nayadu mazina yako wina.
And Mpulungu District Agriculture Coordinator Gloria Musaba explained the importance of the farmer verification exercise.
The aim of this program is to confirm the physical existence of the farmers who have been selected to participate in the 2023-2024 farming season. Now we've received complaints to say some of the farmers do not exist, some of the farmers have shifted.
Mrs. Musaba further highlighted some challenges her office is facing regarding the inclusion of farmers on the program.
Currently we have over 850 cooperatives. So each of these cooperatives has their members. And when we look at the total farmer register, we are above 45,000 farmers in Mpulungu district. So already if we compare the statistics compared to the number of packs we have, probably I can say the concerns from the community is genuine.
Meanwhile, farmers appealed to government to consider increasing the fertilizer and seed packs under FISI. For Zanis News in Mpulungu district, I am Patrick Kabwe.
In Southern Province, civic leaders in Iteji district of Southern Province have joined their counterparts in other districts to commend government for its commitment to improve remuneration packages for councillors in the country. The councillors said improving the payment package will motivate the councillors. Iteji Ward Councillor Gertrude Sosopi described the pronouncement as a progressive move that may reward councillors appropriately for their services to communities. Here are the details.
Civic leaders play a critical role in good governance. They serve as liaisons between the central government and the citizens. Their efforts, however, are not adequately rewarded. This is why Iteji civic leaders have welcomed President Hakainde Hichilema's announcement to improve their remuneration package. Gertrude Sosopi is Iteji ward councillor.
Following the speech from His Excellency, our President, I'm really happy because of how he came out talking about increments or conditions of services for councillors countrywide. I'm sure when we came to hear about that as councillors, it was just like a dream.
Masem Ward Councillor believes the proposal is a step in the right direction.
As you may be aware that our works depend on the community, we expect the community to participate in the decision-making process, meaning that we are not working alone ourselves as councillors. We are working together with our colleagues, the WDC's committee. And when you look at the WDCs, also the conditions are very difficult because it's a voluntary work which they are doing. Meaning that when the councillors are empowered and the WDCs, it will be very easy for us to provide quality works.
Former Banamwaze councillor also expressed his thoughts.
I think I was one of the happiest former councillors because the hardships that they undergone, I think even my fellow councillors have also undergone the same. To assist other councillors, to travel, even to assist other people.
Frederick Mwansa, Zanis, Iteji.
In Copperbelt Province, the Zambia Institute of Special Education, ZAMISE, is concerned that some deaf and blind children are stigmatized and isolated in Zambia. ZAMISE senior lecturer Douglas Gawani has since appealed to the government to create special learning centers for children who are deaf and blind to protect them from stigma and isolation in society. In Muchinga Province, Sisoka District Commissioner Jairo Simbeye says the free education policy has helped increase literacy levels among hundreds of rural pupils. Mr. Simbeye noted with joy that rural pupils are now at par with urban children on reading and writing. He was speaking when he graced the 2023 World Literacy Day commemorations held at Nsasamwenje Primary School. We have more in the following report by Freddie Piri.
The important thing is that I know how to read. I can see everything I want.
These results are remarkable. Children are soaring in literacy levels in Isoka district of Muchinga province between 5 and 11 years old. This was exhibited by Nsasamwenje Primary School during International Literacy Day commemorations.
today. Lelo, but we go yes, Lelo. As we celebrate the International Literacy Day. Hello, International Day.
District Commissioner Jairus Mbe, who was represented by Chinyamunyam Banda.
Literacy is not just about reading and writing. Key that unlocks doors to opportunities. Literacy empowers individual understanding amongst diverse communities.
Isoka District Education Board Secretary Anne Walia adds her words on literacy activities.
Analyze and even synthesize the information that is coming to them. So we are hopeful that we have shown you the foundation.
On World Vision, Mrs. Walia says there is strong partnership.
In these two aspects is actually supporting us very much, and we are.
And World Vision Lusopo Swilo Cluster Manager Samuel Chanda notes
learning roots. So this model is targeted at teaching those children that are in preschool, teaching them how to read and write.
Surely, this dramatic improvement of pupils' reading and writing is pleasing. Fred Piri, Zanis News, Isoka, Chinga Province.
Meanwhile, Action Aid Zambia has donated 10 desktop computers worth 120,000 kwacha to Luwoshi Primary School in Nalodo District in Western Province. Action Aid Interim Country Director Andrew Chukowore said the desktop computers are meant to enhance children's skills in information and technology. Sifue Mwangala now reports.
The important role of information communication and technology ICT in improving learning and teaching in the education sector has not only been recognized by the government, but non-governmental organizations, NGOs as well. However, most schools in Alolo district have a challenge of inadequate ICT tools. In order to address this challenge, ActionAid Zambia has donated 10 desktop computers to Luwosi Primary School. ActionAid Interim Country Director, Dr. Andrew Chikowere, hands over the computers to the school management.
We believe that this is just the beginning of a bigger event that we hope to see as we put ICT infrastructure in our schools. For the learners, we are also taking this as an opportunity. I know that learners have been behind with regards to the use of computers. This is the starting point, this is the beginning, and I hope that with the support of the teachers that are here present, we'll end up seeing improved ICT use, not only at this school, but in many schools in Zambia.
Receiving the computers, Luwosi Primary School head teacher, Oscar Sililo, says the donation will enable the school to teach ICT lessons without facing difficulties.
At the school, you have really come to our aid at a time that we did not expect, that we are going to even open a new subject. So we thank you so very much.
Meanwhile, Nalola District Commissioner Namatama Mopo has called on the school to guard the computers jealously.
I want to appeal to the school to put this contribution donation from Action Aid into good use. I know our students are here now, they are now trying to show the expertise how they know the computers. So I know that now, from now onwards, the words will be changed.
The learners who were represented by Likando Mando said they are happy that the computers will help them improve their computer literacy skills.
These computers will help us to learn online programs and to do researches.
Sifue Mwangala, Zanis, in Nalola District, Western Province.
We move to Northern Province, where former pupils of Luwingu Boarding Secondary School have donated 300 chairs and sanitary towels to their former institution. This is in a bid to help cushion the challenges that the school is facing. Chibibi Lubasi has more in the following report.
The Luwingu Boarding Secondary School alumni have donated 300 chairs and over 800 sanitary towels to the former school. The gesture is aimed at complementing government's effort of ensuring that no pupil sits on the floor by the end of 2023. The former pupils are delighted to extend a helping hand.
These chairs symbolize our commitment to support current students in their education and our unwavering belief in their potential. While the donation of 300 chairs may seem like a simple gesture, it carries the potential to transform the education experience of our young successors.
And the Northern Province Administration has commended the alumni and called on other people to emulate the gesture.
We are indebted as government to the former Wing Secondary School pupils for the gesture, the goodwill of paying back to the school that has shaped their lives today. The Wing Secondary School alumni has since coined a theme that we said, we got, now we give, as a driving force to their effort to mobilize more resources for continuous support to the school.
The beneficiaries of the donation are happy.
We can assure you, our guest of honor, that we will work hard and contribute to the well-being of our beloved country, Zambia. Further, we promise you that we will look after these chairs well.
The former pupils of this school have helped change the water situation that the school has been facing. And today, we are witnessing the handover of 300 chairs.
The former pupils also took time to interact with the current pupils at the school. Chibibi Nyongani reporting for Zanis in Luengo District North.
In Northwestern Province, authorities at the Northwestern Provincial Administration have called for holistic marketing strategies of the Victoria Falls, whose source is in Ikelenge District. Provincial Permanent Secretary Grandson Katambi says it is not holistic to market the Victoria Falls as a single entity when its source is in Northwestern Province. Keno Katambi has since called for the equitable share of the $100 million that has been secured by government for upgrading 3 national sites, including the Zambezi River source. Details in the following report.
It is a province well known for its rich mineral resources that houses 3 giant mines in the nation. However, little is known about the province's rich natural resources in tourism that range from waterfalls, beaches, rivers, and historical sites. The Ministry of Tourism and Arts in the region wants a change in the narrative.
There is a discrepancy, PS, between the numbers that visit the Victoria Falls and the numbers that go to the source of the Zambezi. We need to upgrade the Minilunga airstrip into some bituminous standard. The challenges that we identified are already being looked at through this $100 million facility.
Northwestern Province Permanent Secretary Colonel Grandson Katambi is aware of the challenges the province faces in marketing its tourism potential.
We have been wondering as a province, when people go out there to market Zambia in terms of tourism, they don't talk about the source. They only talk about the falls. But then we start asking these guys, does that water come from just from the blues? The answer is no. So why can't they first of all take the tourists to the parents? And the parent is the source.
Colonel Katambi wants a fair share from the $100 million United States dollars earmarked for the upgrading of the 3 national sites in the country, among them the Zambezi source.
We want now the correct figure for the province so that we start accounting for it. Because people so want development in this province.
Yes, please. Florence Musa for Zanis, in Solwezi, Northwestern Province.
In Eastern Province, BIZ founder Ivan Singoma has encouraged Lundazi residents to form a cooperative and apply for government empowerment grants. Speaking when he addressed congregants at St. Paul's Parish in Lundazi, Mr. Ngoma said working in cooperatives is cardinal as it fosters the spirit of unity among communities. Lakson Makosa reports that Mr. Ngoma said Lundazi will only experience unprecedented development if residents formed cooperatives. Here's a report.
BIZ founder Ivan Singoma has implored congregants at St. Paul's Parish in Lundazi to form cooperatives and access empowerment funds from the government. Mr. Ngoma, who is also brand ambassador for the Buy Zambia campaign, says working in cooperatives makes it easier for government to provide empowerment grants as opposed to working individually. He adds that working in groups further helps to foster productivity and enhance national development.
My word of encouragement to everyone here is that let us be productive, let us grow enough news in order to overwhelm this country. And what I encourage is that let the church be a cooperative that will produce food for this nation. Zambia for once should be food secure. The Republican President Mr. Kaine every day is preaching about food sustenance.
Earlier, the BIZ team made a donation of mealie meal, which was locally produced from the maize grown in Lundazi. The mealie meal is meant to assist the vulnerable in the community where the church is located.
Pingo nao uchitechi umanye uko ungapeleka ku bantu bakusuzgika chifukwa mpingo uno uli very well organized mukupokerera bantu bali na masuzgo ganandi chomeni.
The gesture demonstrated by BIZ to give back to the community has elated the church.
St. Paul's Parish kulundazi pa ofu yomwatipa na vinyake futipe kelenge kuntazi huku fataleza na sidi ise kwitu ni kuonga pera ndiposo kumulomberani kwa shiuta pamoza na wantu osa mkusezera pamoza kuti shiuta utiliza kumtuisiani kuti nshito izi mkushita zokile wantu wanani.
For Zanis, I'm Lakson Makodza.
We continue with the news. The Teaching Council of Zambia, TCZ, is concerned that many private schools do not allow their staff to engage in continuous professional development, CPD, which prevents them from affiliating with the council. TCZ Copperbelt and Northwestern Regional Manager Michael Msoni says CPD allows teachers to accrue credit points which are needed for one to successfully renew their practicing license. Speaking during the stakeholder meeting in Solwezi District, Mr. Musoni said all practicing teachers should accrue a minimum of 50 points per year for a period of 3 years. Details are in the following report by Onishas Mamba.
Educators from private schools in Solwezi District have gathered for a meeting to interact with the Teaching Council of Zambia. The meeting aims at finding ways on how the private sector can enhance compliancy levels. The Association for Private Schools in the region is concerned with the non-compliancy among its members.
We as private schools, it is observed, especially in the last meeting that we had, that we are a contributing factor to the poor results in the province because most of the schools are not registered and are not following the guidelines of the Ministry of Education. Hence, the education that is being offered in some of the private schools leaves much to be desired.
The Ministry of Education in the province wants schools to prioritize the safety of learners.
In some other private areas, I am aware there is a pillar that fell on a child. Somewhere else as well, I am aware of a child who fell in a pit which had some fire. These are things that of course have been in public domain. Let us apply safety measures to the best of our abilities so that we make our schools as school-friendly centers.
And the participants are happy with the engagement.
This is very, very exciting and very, very important because it actually brings us together as private schools. And our being brought together has a lot of value because there are a number of things that we are sharing, that we are learning one and the other. There are so many of them.
For Zanis News, I am Onishas Mamba in Solwezi District, Northwestern Province.
In health news, the Zambia Flying Doctor Service, ZFDS, has officially launched the Kenneth Kaunda Aero Med Center in Itawa Township to offer quality healthcare services to the people of Ndola. ZFDS Senior Medical Officer Tendai Mwemba said the Zambia Flying Doctor Service needs such a health center to help generate income so that the organization can deliver quality free medical services in hard-to-reach remote areas. Details in the following report.
The Zambia Flying Doctor Service has officially opened Kenneth Kaunda Aeromed Center in Itawa Township to the people of Ndola District. The Zambia Flying Doctor Service team showcased their services to the people through a march past from Itawa to Ndeke Township. To provide quality healthcare services to remote, hard-to-reach areas, the Zambia Flying Doctor Service needs such a healthcare center to help generate income.
Is to generate a bit of revenue that supplements the grants that we receive, in order for us to have to offer more services to the hard-to-reach areas. As you know, our target is to at least reach 100,000 patients in the entire country. So one of the aims of the center is for us to supplement the grant that we receive by giving out health services to the community around, so that we can also generate a bit of revenue, so that we enhance the services that we offer to the inhabitants of the hard-to-reach areas.
The people of Ndola are happy with the opening of the healthcare center.
We are happy for the government for this facility. The hospital the government has provided for us, the Zambian Flying Doctors, because they are helping us as a country in a healthy, so that whenever someone is sick, it's easier.
A hospital whereby even those maybe vulnerable people be helped, especially those in rural areas. Maybe sometimes you say, okay, myself I can't go to Saka, maybe you are suffering strokes, you are suffering different kind of diseases, whereby these it is here, these services that are providing for you. They will come to you with a maybe helicopter or aeroplane, they will pick you from their rural areas. They usually come here in Ndola and provide the service for you, and you will be okay.
The clinic will be offering dental care services, gynecology, pediatrics, eye care services, among others, to the people of Ndola 24/7. Nelly Bota reporting for Zanis in Ndola.
The Department of Community Development in Chilanga District has given out 102 goats to 34 households in Shampula area under the Alternative Livelihood Intervention ALI program. District Community Development Officer Lina Kalimokwa says the ALI program is aimed at helping vulnerable but viable households to improve their nutrition and income generation. We have more in the following report by Nkweto Kapekele.
Government has continued uplifting the living standards of people, especially in rural areas, through various empowerment programs. The Department of Community Development has handed over 102 goats to 34 vulnerable but viable households in Shampula area in Chilanga District. District Community Development Officer Lina Kalimukwa explains.
102 goats are being handed over to 34 households. So these 102 goats will be given to 34 households, and each of these beneficiary 34 households will be getting 3 goats. Of the 3 goats, 2 will be she goats and 1 will be he goats. These 34 households beneficiaries are expected to pass on the offsprings of these goats to the next group or the next cycle of beneficiaries.
Chilanga District Commissioner David Cheleni took the opportunity to explain the vision of government to the local people.
So that pakushika chaka ili 2030 at least natu wabola manda wabona kwamba abantu bakalaka botu manda chincha wikalo bwa chincha ma families bantu bonse bakalaka botu kwamba yonse yitu shobayanda nanga menda onse yirika botu manda lika botu okay shakuria yonse shirika bo.
The beneficiaries had this to say.
Basebenza chifupa vinangu sitenzo viona manja patambo viona so tingaongeza ikomo kuli mulungu na beve kuti abapereke kusogolo tikazienda nabo tikazichita vamene hivi vamene wala ndira ona vamene uzapereka bana ku skulu vamene uzazitandizira kulima jambuzi kabala muntu muitana uja vamene abwera kulimira manje ngati wamba kudya nishu zazitandizira chani.
The veterinary officer had this reminder for the recipients.
Imwe mafamasi bantu imwe mkumbukira
tinapita muli ma trainings, tinamiphunzitsani mosungira mbuzi, tinamiphunzitsani motesera mbuzi, tinamiuzani kuti mbuzi zifunika kuzisunga bwino, sitifuna mairo mazo tikamvera ti mbuzi bachita bwanji batibera. Monga mwamene bakambira ba officer modesera mbuzi munapunzira na vinangu vakudya na viona vili chape pamene pano muvirekerera simufuna na kuvisunga bwino vonse pamene tuona ma stocks ayali around this area. Let us collect them, tienti yatenge tipange ijabu so that mbuzi zingalina vakudya.
It is hoped that more people will benefit from the empowerment program. Mkwetoka Pekele, Zanis, Chilanga.
We continue with the news. Justice Minister Mlambo Haimbe says government remains committed to work with the church for the benefit of the Zambian people. Speaking during the New Apostolic Church Inter-Sub-Area concert yesterday, Mr. Haimbe said government and the church have always worked together through guidance on national values and principles. Zanis reports that the minister, who is also Lusaka Central Member of Parliament, has since encouraged the church to help nurture and grow the talent displayed by the choirs, especially the children. Mr. Haimbe also responded to the hosting apostles' invitation, who extended an invitation to President Hakainde Hichilema to attend the next concert. And New Apostolic Church Ibex Hill Congregation Apostle Maya Kenjunju thanks the minister for accepting the invitation and gracing the occasion. Hundreds of congregants from Lusaka East and Kafue New Apostolic Church attended the concert.
Brothers and sisters, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have heard the request this evening from the Apostle that His Excellency must grace this church. Your message is loud and clear, and I have every inspiration and motivation to deliver it. As you know, he also loves to sing. And if we have performances such as the ones we've seen today, I know to be fully appreciated. So I take the request to His Excellency, and I'm sure the invitation will be honored. I'm sure failing to deliver a message that is as strong as the one that you have given here today, to fail to do so will get me fired. So I'll make sure I deliver that. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take the opportunity to implore the New Apostolic Church to grow this talent that we have by building a school to help us enhance this talent. In this regard, I would like to pledge on behalf of government our continued support spiritually, financially, and in every way possible to see this dream come true. Every journey starts with the first step. And today I believe we have taken a very important step together.
We are grateful that you managed to come. May you please convey our gratitude to His Excellency the President.
chiyamiko chato wa musogoleri wa dziko.
I'm sure going forward someday with a similar program, we may extend the invitation to him as well, and I'm sure he'll be able to explain what we have been able to experience this afternoon.
Nikulupirira kupita musogoro tizakhala okatambasula maitanidwe aya wa iye. Nikulupirira muzakhala okufotokozera zomwe inu mwakhala oziona.
As a church, our mission is to propagate the gospel of Jesus.
And United Church of Zambia, UCZ Western Presbytery, has launched its 100-year celebration of the Butoya Conference slated for October 18th to 22nd, 2023 in Mongo District. The launch started with the flagging off of marchers by Western Province Minister Kapelo Mbangweta at Barotse Shopping Mall. We have more in the following report by Ikachana Sindala.
United Church of Zambia holds the Butoya Conference in Sefula area in Mongo District every after 4 years, where all congregants from the Western Presbytery meets for various church activities. The birth of Butoya Conference was at a missionary conference held in Sefula in 1923, where a decision was made that all church members be meeting, and in October this year, the holding of the conference will be clocking 100 years. The UCZ Western Presbytery has since launched the celebration of the event and has lined up activities ahead of it, slated for October 18th to 22nd, 2023.
I wish to commend you and the church for having been a faithful partner in the development of our province, which we hope to continue. And speaking on behalf of the government, would like the UCZ also to start participating in our flagship developmental project of CDF so that you can improve some of the various infrastructure that are available in the places where they are offered.
And in his homily, Western Presbytery Reverend Bishop Roy Kanchele challenged the congregants over what they could do to the church today. Meanwhile, Reverend George Kachiza states what happens prior to the conference.
Prior to the conference, the presbytery meets, the Presbytery Council meets to elect the bishop to lead the church for the next 4 years. It is at a colorful church Sunday service held at Butoya where the new bishop is introduced to the general membership.
Ikachana Sindala for Zanis in Mongo, Western Province.
In sports news, Minister of Youth, Sport and Art Permanent Secretary Kangwa Chileshe says Levi Mwanawasa Stadium will be ready for international games before the Zambia national team starts playing the World Cup qualifiers in October this year. Chileshe said when he inspected the ongoing renovations at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium that most of the works that were recommended by the Confederation of African Football (CAF) have been done. Tovin Ngombe has more in this report.
A team of officials from the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Arts, led by the Permanent Secretary, Kangwa Chileshe, has inspected Levi Mwanawasa Stadium to ascertain its readiness for hosting upcoming World Cup qualifiers slated for October this year. Mr. Chileshe has assured Zambians that the stadium will be ready as the team from his ministry and Football Association of Zambia are working to ensure that the national team plays its qualifier games in Zambia.
Yes, we're going to be ready. And that's part of our visit here as a ministry, with the ministry team, with our engineer, with our director here, is just to come and witness, agree, attest to what we already know, because we have the information. Our director has been feeding us information, and we are working in tandem with the Football Association of Zambia. So we know that there are a few things that need to be brought in, e.g. the substitute benches are being ordered from South Africa. They will be installed. I know the locker rooms, the restrooms are being worked on. All the nitty-gritties, all the things that were stipulated by CAF that they need to be addressed. The team, our team at the ministry, the stadium management, and the Football Association of Zambia are meeting all those needs. So we did have an inspection. The inspection went well, and I know that there are still further inspections that are coming, and I believe that we're going to qualify for those inspections.
Head of Technical Section at Lev Mwanawasa Stadium, Stephen Makungu, highlights the works that have been done so far.
I've also worked on our dressing rooms, where we have implemented one of the instructions that were given by CAF, where we had to make sure that all our dressing rooms have got lockable doors on the dressing benches, as well as backrests, as well as shelves. So I think those are the very critical things that we have addressed.
Earlier, Mr. Chileshe paid a courtesy call on his counterpart, the Permanent Secretary for Copperbelt Province, Mr. Augustine Kasongo, who appreciated the works being done to improve the game of soccer.
If there's anything that puts us together as Zambians, sports and soccer in particular, so when there's an activity like that, we come together, regardless of one's political affiliation, whatever, we become one people. So it's very important that we do these activities, and especially the Copperbelt, which was at one time Baghdad, like my president, my minister says, we had a lot of divisions here. But whenever there's an activity like this one we're having today, we come together as Zambians. So we shall continue to support your department here, Levi Mwanawasa.
The works that have been done here will no doubt enable the country to host international matches, to bring smiles on soccer fans, to continue cheering the national team. Tovini Ngombe, Zanis, Indola.
And that sporting item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, we take a look at the headlines once again. Government to spend over 14 million kwacha on constructing road in Kaoma. Zambia Institute of Special Education calls for special learning centers. Permanent Secretary calls for holistic marketing of Victoria Falls. Plus, Levi Mwanawasa Stadium to be ready before World Cup qualifier games. And that is all we had for you on this edition of Zanis News. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your presenter, Sarah Miti. Goodbye.